am the president-elect for NvAND. I work at Horizon Specialty Hospital. I'm the director of dietetics, so I run the kitchen and I work with all of the clinical dietitians. So I initially started off as the reimbursement representative. I kind of jumped in the middle of a term. I didn't know much about reimbursement, but being a part of the board, I learned so much and I left with so much. So it really helped me in my practice, and I'm really thankful for, the short time that I was the reimbursement representative. Yeah, so it's funny. Everyone on the board kind of jokes that other people on the board kind of roped them into it. But the people who are very involved, I happen to be already pretty involved on the, just in the community as a preceptor and working with UNLV students. So some of the, I think it was the president at the time, Jake Yarberry. I feel like he's roped a few people into being on the board, but we're always so grateful for that experience. And, we grow together and we use information from each other to all get better. So I think that just peers are what the board is all about. I just think serving on any board is really important. I think especially in dietetics, we can get really focused on like our realm of dietetics. For example, clinical dietitians kind of forget that there's something outside of clinical dietetics, and our brain thinks clinical nutrition. And, same for people who are an outpatient, like dietetics for them is helping those outpatient patients. And, people working in community settings or in the school, we're all in different, it's one field, but there's so many different facets. And so I feel like the most valuable thing I've gotten from this is working with so many leaders in their field. So, there's some incredible people on the board, and they're all doing such different things. We have private practice dietitians. We have people who work, in corporate settings with, medicine. We have people who work in corporate settings with food, dairy council, beef council, outpatient, inpatient, and it really gets your brain going, and you get to work with some of those other individuals and see their impression of things and how it's different from you. And I think that especially at this time in America, it's important to look at everyone else's view of what's going on and how can that help you where you are. I'd have to say just the support that everyone else shows each other. So even though, it's a professional board and, we're governed kind of by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and it's, it's a very professional board, but at the core of it, we're all just people. And having other members of the board, reach out and say, how are your kids doing? How is your spouse doing? How's work been for you? Especially, of course, during this time, it's just another group of people that I feel cared for by them. And that's why another reason I'm just thankful to be on the board is just the support that we show each other emotionally. There's many benefits of being on the board, but specifically, I think that if you want your career to advance, being on a board shows your current and your future employers that you care about your field professionally and you're trying to evolve it. So I think it really shows that you're jumping in and you're really immersed. You're on top of new research, you're on top of, new legislation, and it shows who you are as an individual in your career. So it's definitely, the networking that we do amongst each other in the board it's really strong. And the board consists of a lot of leaders, maybe not necessarily like managers or directors, but in general, they're people who, want the field to get better, and we talk about it and they're making an effort to do that. So networking is really important, and being with all of those leaders, I think it's a really great thing to put on your resume. And there's just so many people in that room that you can say, hey, I'm applying to this position, do you know anyone there? And people really do talk, and having good referrals is really important. It's really fun. I mean, it's fun to get to be with all those different leaders and share ideas and be supported with all your different ideas. So I definitely recommend being on the board, or at least, trying to be on the board, to anyone who's interested. We're here for you, and we want you to excel at your career, and we want, Nevada dietitians to excel. So join us and we'll make the field better.